And today marks 2 years since Cubans marched across the communist island in an unprecedented revolt against the government. Thousands of people were arrested and remain in jail. Local 10's Hetzel Vela live now in Miami as the fight for justice continues. Hetzel.
Calvin, several events held here in South Florida, remembering the historical significance of those protests, including a caravan happening as we speak, leaving Hialeah, ending up here in Little Havana in about an hour. Meet Berenice Toledano from Santiago de Cuba.
Fue fuerte.
For the first time, she shares her story, one of thousands from Cuba, from those who took to the streets. She talks of the fear for simply doing what many of us take for granted, freely protesting her government. Just one of several events today commemorating 2 years since the historic protest on the island. Some say July 11, 2021 changed Cuba forever. Another event, the Justice Cuba Commission, had participants from 10 countries who have heard testimony from inside Cuba.
I think that what we're seeing is, like never before, an international focus on human rights violations on Cuba, on the people responsible for those violations, and the willingness to pursue all legal means to bring them to justice.
Following the protests, human rights groups say close to 1,900 Cubans were detained. More than 780 remain in jail, 911 were prosecuted and sanctioned, and about 90 are in exile. Governments, human rights organizations continue to call on the Cuban government to release all political prisoners. This is Marta Perdomo, a mother showing a picture of her 2 sons, Jorge and Nadir Perdomo, who remain in jail for simply participating in those protests. And since those protests, we have seen a mass exodus out of Cuba, 2% of its population now in exile. No surprise, the Cuban government is blaming the U.S. government for those protests, but no significant evidence shown so far. For now, reporting live from Miami's Little Havana neighborhood, I'm Hetzel Vela, Local 10 News.